do have questions from the audience that you will be able to answer very well during the questions and answers session, to which we will proceed. I will say a few words about our firm, about Integritas Group. Integritas Group, we are headquartered in Malta, and we have over 40 personnel here in Malta. Also have, there will be a slide about our company, about Integritas Group, maybe at some point. If not, I will speak to the conglomerate group. You've got a very nice picture here. So we provide services, really. Most of our clients are high net worth individuals, ultra high net worth, and of course entrepreneurs from around the world who seek solutions in relation to Malta and other jurisdictions. For example, Malta is more like, it was structured like a Swiss family office in many ways, without asset management, without wealth management, and so a large spectrum of services that entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals need, like company formation, tax, legal mergers and acquisitions, registration of yachts and aircraft, which Borana's firm also do, and a large part of our work is immigration, so citizenship and residency solutions for entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals around the world. Like Borana's firm, we also have a license for provision of Maltese citizenship and residency services to clients and submit applications and handle applications. Also, but Malta doesn't fit all in terms of citizenship and residency, and so we also cover USA, Canada, Caribbean, European jurisdictions like Greece, Portugal. Hello, can you hear me? I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Alexandra. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. It must mean something with my computer, like Greece, Portugal, or Cyprus, and other European solutions, including United Kingdom. We also have presence in United Arab Emirates, and my colleagues at our in Dubai help with company formations in the UAE. With obtaining UAE residency, opening bank accounts, relocation to UAE, which is in great demand from entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals from around the world, including from USA. So this is just very briefly about us. I will be glad to provide information, and I'm sure the organizers will share my details along with other participants after this webinar. I'll be glad to answer any questions. And for now, we proceed to the questions to our speakers. The questions we have, so this would be probably both to Sergey and Borana. You could choose who would like to answer this questions, or both of you could answer these questions. For example, we have a question from Igor. Which jurisdictions today can be an alternative to Cyprus companies for the international trade? So which jurisdictions today can be an alternative to Cyprus companies for the international trade?
Sergey, would you like to start, or?
Oh, I shall give you a possibility to speak first. So then, anyway, I also want to give a comment.
Okay, that's good.
First, yeah.
So basically, I cannot speak of, like, I work with international clients, but I cannot speak of other jurisdictions other than the ones that we operate in. And mainly we operate in Malta and Luxembourg for the moment. So let's say that Malta offers quite a big opportunity of investment and relocation. And it has a lot of benefits. Sometimes it is wrongly treated as the only benefit is the tax benefit. We have a very good tax regime, which is also sanctioned by the European Union, in the sense that it was vetted by the European Union. It is not a tax scheme, but it is an actual tax regime. And the European Union has given the blessing for the various refund systems. And we, obviously, being part of the European Union, like Cyprus is, have adopted the parent subsidiary directive. So we have the benefits over there on the taxation of dividends as well. However, typical of Malta is the refund scheme. So we are known for the tax benefits. However, I would not limit Malta and its possibilities to that. I believe it is a very good place to relocate and set up business because of its location to start with, because it is very well connected with Europe and the rest of the European Union. One of our biggest forte, I believe, is the fact that one of the official languages of Malta is English. So communication is really easy here. But from a corporate structure perspective and from a sanity of mind in relation to the for your peace of mind in relation to your corporate structure, Malta has quite a hybrid jurisdiction of law, so it takes the best of the common and civil law. It has quite a lot, corporate law has quite a lot of influence from the UK law, and English is the language that prevails in court in relation to commercial and mainly corporate law. So there is clarity there. You don't you can read the documents that are drafted. You know what we're talking about. You know what your company is doing. But at the same time, if something goes wrong, because unfortunately sometimes something goes wrong and you want to go to court, it's always the English language that prevails. And to conclude, I believe there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of ways to think of succession planning. So relocating to Malta to create your international hub, maybe you have a lot of other subsidiaries all over the world, but grouping everything under one international umbrella and locating in Malta and thinking of how to actually pass it from one generation to another is quite a good opportunity. We have also, I can give you a brief account on Luxembourg as well. I want to leave more space to Sergey though, and we can even discuss it at a later stage.
Thank you very much. Sergey, to you now.
First of all, I want to say that Ihor is asking a very nice question, because the question itself shows that there is a great problem nowadays, a great issue with the Cyprus, the jurisdiction that used to be a trade jurisdiction, but nowadays it's turning to be a mainly jurisdiction for immigration, for wealth, etc. So if we talk about trade nowadays, I cannot say that anything can compare to Dubai, actually, because the same situation that Cyprus was used to benefit from, it was that the simplicity. I mean, it's simple to open a company in Dubai and simple to have a company in Dubai. It has a problem later, of course, because it's never so simple. But at the first stage, the first step, Dubai is now leading. The other thing that I mentioned, and it's important to understand that it never used to be one universal jurisdiction for trade in the whole world. Of course, there were several, and each part of the world was covered with it like an umbrella. So from that point of view, of course, Dubai is not the only, but I think that's leading. Also, what I mentioned in my presentation, that we have some strange things like Serbia, becoming part of trade world. But still, I think that if a company is purchasing something in European Union and then selling it inside European Union, it will be more classical jurisdictions like Liechtenstein or something. If a company is buying European Union and trying to sell to Eastern world or something to Eastern Europe and countries that near, it might be Hungary. Not bad solution really. A bit strange language, but quite effective. And you still solve your issue with the VAT. And of course, Singapore and stuff like this, if you are doing trade with China, for example. But to put it in a nutshell, I can say that again, Dubai is by now maybe leading. So that's my point of view. And I say nothing wrong bad about Malta. Malta is also a great jurisdiction to have your trade company. So that's.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sergey. So shall we proceed to the next question? Yes, thank you, Borana. Thank you, Sergey. Very, very good, useful questions. So the question from David, proper financial management in business, how to control the company's budget. So do you have any recommendations, tips from your experience of working with clients, things can go wrong, and what would be how to control the company's budget?
It's again a question to me. So, okay, this is the question that each businessman asks himself one day or herself one day. So there cannot be some simple answer like I give you a magic key. There are a lot of books about this, but you shall delegate things. Good solution to start to delegating into finance director. Okay, at the very beginning you can delegate to accountant, but then to finance director in a company when it's big enough. And I will always say that consultants and advisories, they earn their money not for nothing. They do a great job. So, I mean, after you're not satisfied with what's happening in your business and your finance director cannot solve the problem, please ask professionals. We have experience from all over the world. And as I told in my presentation, some things that sounds hard for you may be sold easily and cheap in different places. You just need to copy this solution. So to control the budget, ask professionals. Hire a professional, and then ask also for a consultant. Why not?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sergey. Borana, would you like to add anything?
No, I like it, Sergey's point of view. Actually, it's a very good point. Ask consultants. I would, now we are at a very critical historical time. We're all speaking about inflation. We're all speaking about increasing costs. We're all speaking about not increasing, so increasing standards of life, but not increased salaries. So we need to understand our company better. What I would suggest, and as an addition to what Sergey was suggesting, is listen to your numbers and understand your numbers. It's not enough anymore to just produce simple financial statements, simple management accounts. Now you have to work your numbers a bit better. And data analytics, like analyzing those numbers, is the most important thing. And the second advice that I would give is do not run the risk of limiting costs to and stretching it like to the maximum limit. I would say that whilst you are analyzing your numbers, analyze also what in your budget is considered to be a cost and what in your budget is considered to be inefficiency. So go and try and understand where you have your inefficiencies, try and reduce those, and keep your costs that are more related to an investment rather than to inefficiencies. So a way to control your budget is also to understand exactly what is happening in your firm. Check the numbers and divide it to inefficiencies and investment. Keep the investment and try and find the inefficiencies. That's my suggestion.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Borana. Since you've got the microphone, I've got a couple of questions that kind of following on your very interesting presentation. And so we understand that one of the corporate structures that covers succession planning has traditionally been trusts. So what are the benefits of private foundations that you were talking about as opposed to trusts? And what is the main difference between the two?
Thanks for your question. That is a very good point. Traditionally, we know that trusts have been covering all matters of, or mainly matters of succession planning. And I would like to start by saying that both look into the future. So both foundations, private foundations and trusts try to solve the succession planning issues. So you imagine a settler in the case of the trust and the founder in the case of a private foundation. They pass on basically the property they have to the trustee or to the administrator, and they put down their wishes on what they want those assets to, what do they want to happen with those assets, how those assets should be managed, how, for instance, if their kids are still young and they cannot take over the business, by when do they want the business to be taken over by their kids, how can they cater for children that are, I don't know, spendthrifts or unfortunately drug addicts or alcoholic. So do they want their business to just go down the drain with in such cases, or they want to protect it even for the benefit of their children? So both trusts and foundations from that point of view, so from the succession planning perspective, work. However, they have very fundamental a couple of very fundamental differences. And to start with, when you pass on the assets, in the case of the trust, you're passing the assets to the trustee. So it's the trustee that is going to manage the assets, and they are going to be in the name of the trustee, because the trust is not a legal person and does not have a separate legal personality. The legal personality of the trust is vested in the trustee. Although there are rules and laws that protect the assets, because the assets of the trust cannot be confused with the personal assets of the trustee, it's always the trustee that appears in the name of the trust, because the trust is not a legal person, whilst the foundation, the private foundation, has actually a separate legal personality. When you transfer the asset, you're not transferring it to the trustee, you're transferring the asset to the foundation, to the actual foundation. The foundation has its own personality, it has its own legal presence, and the foundation can represent itself. I'm not going to go too much into detail on the others, but one of the most cardinal points that I would like to mention is what I mentioned before, the cells. So a foundation can have separate cells. You can create cells for different reasons. You can segregate the activities, you can segregate the personality, the liability, you can segregate the risks of a foundation. And this is very interesting because various cells can have various beneficiaries, whilst the trust is one. If you want to separate it, you have to create different trusts. So the foundation offers you that kind of flexibility that rarely other corporate structures can offer. And the last point that I wanted to make is that, unfortunately, although I believe that trusts are a beautiful institute and they have helped families for generations and generations, even if not just family businesses, but families in their own right. Certain jurisdictions do not understand trusts. Certain jurisdictions, unfortunately, stigmatize trusts, I work every day with jurisdictions that actually say, oh, no, trust, they are like seen very badly in our jurisdiction because they are seen as a means to actually hide assets or as a means to evade tax or so. They are stigmatized. I'm not saying this is the right thing or the right way to see them. I'm not even saying that there have not been cases in which this has something wrong has happened with trust. However, private foundations are more understood, although not all the jurisdictions have it, but they are not stigmatized as much as trust. So this is to summarize a bit what the differences are.
That's great. Thank you very much. But in this context, can I ask you another question? If I were planning to set up a foundation, one of probably my first questions would be, how can, let's say, I as the founder of this private foundation can retain control over operations of the foundation and also over the eventual distribution? Do clients ask you these questions and how
this is one of the this is one of the biggest questions, actually. This is the thing that they ask more in relation to foundations. Obviously, imagine putting all your assets under the administration of an administrator who can be a professional administrator, can be someone of your trust, nothing to say, and they are going to do an amazing, brilliant job. However, it's difficult to let go. So if it is my business, if it is my if they are my assets, it's very difficult to let go. So how can founders actually retain control? I would say there are two ways in retaining control, and both ways can work together. Firstly, the introduction of the figure, which is the supervisory council. So you can actually, as a founder, appoint a supervisory council, which can who can also be a very trusted lawyer, a trusted counselor of your choice, who can maybe be very close to the family and knows all about the family. And obviously, the biggest element is that you trust this supervisory council. And the supervisory council actually has the possibility to limit the powers of the administration and to administrator and to guide the administrator. To couple, so to top it up and to make it a bit more safe for the founders to actually retain a certain margin of control. As I mentioned before, the founder, first of all, they will draft a deed of a foundation together with the administrator. And this deed of foundation, they will express all the ways that they wish their assets to be managed or distributions to be made. They can explain everything there. In fact, when you write a deed of foundation, you sit there and you say, okay, what are your needs? Let's cater for all the needs of your business. Whatever the business is, be it a family business, be it a non-family business, you sit there and you try and analyze it. So that is the first thing that a founder can do. And during the lifetime, the founder can also express their wishes. The founders can express their wishes through the letters of wishes. So that is something also extremely important to retain control and to actually see that their wishes are being fulfilled as they have thought during the lifetime and as they have thought prior to setting up the foundation.
Okay, well, that is great. Thank you very much. It's actually a very reassuring answer. Thank you. And since you've still got the microphone, and you spoke about the solutions in Malta, can I just ask you a question what are the benefits of investing in Malta and bringing corporate structures to Malta? Because Malta has been of great interest to nationals from all over the world for many years, and recently we also, like with UAE, we've seen an increase in interest in Malta structures, investments in Malta from nationals of USA. So what is it that makes Malta, in your opinion, so advantageous for investing and for bringing corporate structures?
Apart of from the sun, you're saying.
Sorry?
Apart from the sun, you're saying. No, I'm joking. So yes, as I mentioned before, I would say I would like to summarize it into one word. It's corporate flexibility. Actually, two words. It's corporate flexibility. I just mentioned that the private foundations are quite particular and they are quite characteristic of the jurisdiction. I'm not saying that Malta is the only one that has them, but I'm saying that not every jurisdiction has private foundations. There is a lot of flexibility also with respect to other structures, such as limited liability companies. You can actually create certain mechanics within the memorandum and articles of association. You can separate the shares. You can actually create various classes of shares with various rights for various shareholders. This is very useful in relation to investments as well. There are companies that invest in a certain way in a company. There are others that operate in another way. So it's only fair that they have different rights of shareholding. So that is something that you can achieve in Malta. Corporate flexibility is extremely important. I mentioned before the tax benefits, obviously. However, what I would like to mention also is that Malta has a very, very, very big number of double taxation treaty and treaties with a lot of other jurisdictions, which is always a benefit when you are dealing internationally. So this big number of double tax treaties is something that brings a lot of business to Malta. Obviously, as I mentioned also before, we're speaking about an English-speaking country. When you write your documents, when you write your emails, when you read your documents, be it that you're a director, be it that you're a shareholder, you will understand, if you know English, obviously, what is happening in your company. And unfortunately, sometimes in other jurisdictions, there is a language barrier. Obviously, Malta has also put herself out there as a technology hub. We sometimes are called the blockchain island. So we are regulating. We're regulating also. Introducing certain regulation from that perspective, introducing the virtual financial assets regulations and so there is a lot of interest also from an innovation, cryptocurrencies, blockchain perspective. I believe what wins it is actually the flexibility and the clarity of the jurisdiction. So you know what you're going into and you know what to expect going forward, and you have a lot of options. Let's put it this way.
That's great. Thank you so much. Very, very positive and very open. And Sergey, I have the same question to you about Cyprus. Cyprus is still considered an attractive jurisdiction for bringing corporate structures for investment, for including from nationals of European Union who use Cyprus for structures, nationals of United Kingdom. Would you be able to summarize in a few sentences, Sergey, what is it that is making Cyprus attractive from that perspective?
Just a little question again. What makes it attractive for European clients, or what makes it attractive
for any client?
Mm-hmm. Okay, look, if we speak about Cyprus and its role in the last couple of years after 2012, I think, when they have a big problem with the banking system, they changed the idea of what they were selling. They decided to sell citizenship. We didn't realize this very fast, actually. We started realizing this later, maybe 2016 or 2017, when they already make the system work very fast and very effective. And actually, they didn't design the system. They copied it from Greece and from others. So, but they were selling it aggressively. And okay, what I'm saying is my personal point of view. It's not official position, actually. And I love Cyprus. I love this place. But I cannot not criticize. I need to criticize in this situation. Actually, when they were selling these golden passports, and you know that they right before that they stopped the program, they sold 3 or 4 times the amount of passports they usually sell a year. So actually, they sold enough passports for a couple of years not to sell. These all influenced their economy greatly. They start creating big skyscrapers, because this is the type of property, the apartments in these skyscrapers is a type of property that can be effectively used for the golden passports program. So it influenced their economy. Being a philosophy doctor, I can say that actually it's not the right way, because you have like 2 separate markets. You have a market of extremely high property, and you have a separate market of property for the locals, for the people with a normal amount of money. And that's why when you ask me, for example, to invest in Cyprus, I will say that, okay, you can invest in highly costing property with high risks, actually, because nobody knows how Cyprus will solve the problem now, because they don't have any more this program of golden passports. How will they give power to this market of this real estate? I have heard, it's not official position, but I have heard that they thinking of making some solutions about commercial real estate. So it might be they will change the idea of these skyscrapers, like you buy not an apartment, you buy an office. But who knows? It's not official. I mean that I cannot say that this is a 100% safe solution. With what happened 2022, the situation again influenced Cyprus greatly. They maybe in the absolute numbers, it's not such a big migration, but for Cyprus is a really big migration, Ukrainian and Russians. And you shall keep in mind that Russians that came here in Cyprus are, okay, it's my point of view, I've seen these people. It's extremely rich Russian people that were waiting for something to make them run from the country. They were waiting for that moment. They just it was like a light. So they start running through Dubai to Cyprus, and nowadays we have here a lot of new people from Russia, and of course I'm telling you about this because this influenced the real estate market. It is extremely hard nowadays to find an apartment in Limassol, in Paphos, or I don't know, even Nicosia. Everything is rented. It is extremely hard to find a car to rent, good car. So it's it just shows you the sign. So they will say that it's a good idea to invest in Cyprus, but I'm not sure. I don't know how market will behave after summer. So with all these problems, first of all, people came here for 2 or 3 months. Maybe they will not stay here for years. Or, for example, they ran to Cyprus because it was the easiest solution. They have relatives here, etc. And then they will maybe choose a different place, even Malta. So we don't know. And this will influence again the real estate market. So to answer, is the Cyprus the right place to invest? Again, will be very hard question. So if we speak about the short-term investment, maybe, but if we talk about the long-term, I better wait for what they offer as the new idea What will be the golden passports scheme, and also wait what will happen with the real estate market after all this panic and hectic. And so it's too early to say if it is good or not. Cyprus will suffer, sure, as a shipping jurisdiction because the world trade suffered a lot, and also it's they I don't think that they were profiting from the Russian Softcom float having office there. But still, we shall keep in mind that Russia left Cyprus. I mean, her shipping companies, and nowadays Cyprus becomes more dependent. I mean, it still have a lot of shipping companies here, and but there is no, they are all European. I mean, there's nothing to compare with. So from that point of view, again, Cyprus will become more dependent, and what will be with the shipping industry? Is it good to invest or not, or Greece will be more preferable place to invest money if you want to invest in shipping industry. So about banking system of Cyprus, I don't think we here consider seriously possibility to invest in their banking system. So high-tech technologies also I don't know, because as I told you, Georgia now is this great amount IT guys that were planning to move. Some of them first moved to Cyprus, yes, well, I can see this, but I think that they don't Cyprus, they don't work effectively in this case. They are losing a lot of clients, really a lot. So people are not coming to Cyprus, even though that expected to come to Cyprus. It's a nice place for IT guy. You understand? It's maybe even little bit better than Malta because have more space. I mean, IT people, they don't love too much society around. So Cyprus is always very popular among them. So because they can, I know a couple of clients, big companies here in Paphos, that they enjoy not to be seen, and they enjoy to be in some way away from others. So and this also will influence to invest or not. I will say we shall better wait. That's my opinion about Cyprus. I love this place. I live here, but shall be speaking criticizing.
Well, thank you very much for your very honest opinion, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Cyprus, in this lovely sunny place. And one of the reasons actually Cyprus has been popular amongst entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals since introduction of a few years ago, the 60-day tax residency rule, where it's possible to obtain tax residency in Cyprus, providing you fulfill a number of other conditions. And Cyprus has a number of residency programs going. So I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more about that, about the options and solutions that Cyprus offers when we come to the conference in Cyprus, to the Bosco conference in Cyprus, and looking forward to hearing more about that and meeting you there too and asking you questions.
Alexandra, I just wanted to say that here in Cyprus are so many lawyers and accountants that I don't want to tell things about this. That's their job to tell you about all the schemes, etc. So I'm advisory. So of course there are a lot of programs, and I just don't want to tell you the things that will be told many times in 10 days.
There will be. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. So on that very positive note, we shall conclude our preview of the Bosco conference today and meeting these wonderful speakers today with saying goodbye, with saying thank you very much for attending.